Hello, welcome back. Well, I hope you caught our very first podcast where we were talking about the NHS and the collapse. Well, it really is collapsing. And if you didn't, please go back and have a look. And now I want to be talking to you about something that I'm really concerned about, and not too many people are picking up on what I seem to have joined the dots for. So let's talk about the spring budget, because it's coming up, it's looming for all of us. If you're not watching in the United Kingdom, this is a UK budget, and if you are British and you're watching from abroad, then this might impact you as well. So the spring statement, the autumn budget, I'll tell you all the date in a minute, but the autumn budget, how bad does it have to get? Well, it does get bad. We were told, weren't we, last year, Rachel from Accounts, I think people call her on social media, Rachel Reeves, our Chancellor of the Exchequer, told us that the autumn budget was going to be the worst ever. So don't panic, don't worry, this was going to be it, and from there on in it was going to be smooth sailing. Do you remember that? Because I do. Well, I'm afraid that we need to be looking at what happened in that budget and how it impacts us now, because now we're in 2025. So let's look at the tax tables for 24 and 25. That sounds a bit boring, doesn't it? But I think you'll see why I want to focus on these. And in the first tax tables, you'll see that in March, and that is when we're recording in March, train fares are going up in England, 4.6%, and rail cards are going up by £5. There's a lot going on. As you can see, again in March, temporary stamp duty relief ended. So all of these changes that Rachel from Accounts made last October are all going to suddenly impact now April, May, June. So we've got temporary stamp duty relief, and also on the slide there you can see in April the minimum wage goes from £11.44 to £12.21. That's going to be good, isn't it? You're going to get another pound in your wages, but I'm afraid, robbing Peter to pay Paul, council tax is going up as well on April the 1st, and that's going to be a big hike. We could be talking anywhere between 5% and 25%, and we'll maybe talk about that later. Also, the TV licence, for any of you that are still paying to watch the BBC and mainstream media, that is also going up from £169.50 to £174.50. And car tax, lucky you if you're due to pay your tax at the end of March, because you'll just get in time, because that's going up in line with the retail price index. And water bills are going up £27.40 on average. And as well as that, of course, you've got the energy prices, and whether they'll go up or down or be capped, who knows? Things are changing every day. So there's just a few, and there's a few more. So going on, you'll see also in April, the employer national insurance contributions are going to rise from 13.8% to 15%. Now, we've spoken about this before, and it's going to affect an awful lot of small businesses, and it's also going to affect hospices as well, but maybe that's for another time. And in June, for those of you that are looking to get a mortgage, the mortgage guarantee closes 5% deposit that you were allowed to, or you were being allowed to put forward. That is going to end in June. That was from the last budget. So when is the next budget? So let's look and see when it is. The date for your diary, just a few days, 26th of March, Rachel from Accounts will be delivering the spring budget. And if we look on further, we can see, actually, I have been warning about this spring budget for a long time. But look at this, leaked. It was leaked, although I did mention it a few weeks ago on my X account, if you want to go and have a look. But it seems as though we're going to be taking a lot of money from the Department of Work and Pensions. And you have to ask yourselves why. Why is so much money being spent on benefits? And why are so many people requiring benefits at the moment? So let's look at DWP, because it's only just beginning. So let's look at the I. DWP changed to PIP eligibility. Now, for those of you that don't know, PIP stands for Personal Independence Payment, and it's a payment that's given to people with disabilities who struggle to manage day to day, but also they can work. They can actually go to work. This is not a means tested benefit, and it's actually an enabling benefit. It's not a disability benefit. It enables people with differences and illness to have a job. So it's it's a lifeline. It really is. And I have to say that for a lot of people who are vaccine injured, and if you're watching out there, we will be doing so much more on vaccine injuries, I promise you, and we will be bringing in my very good friend Cheryl Granger as well, and lots of experts to talk about vaccine injuries. But many of the vaccine injured have not received any compensation, are not receiving any help. Many have lost their jobs, their homes, their families. PIP, personal independence payment, if they're lucky enough to get it, is a lifeline. And if that is going to be taken away, where does that leave our vaccine injured? And, you know, for people that want to know PIP, personal independence payment, you're looking at 40 pages of an application to fill in for it. You're looking at assessments on the phone. You're looking at gathering together all your medical documents, which probably won't get looked at. It's a huge task to even apply for personal independence payment. So to say to these people that they're going to be cut is just, well, it's beyond wicked. So yeah, and oh yeah, while I'm at it, actually, let's remind ourselves of Ed Dowd. Now, I've interviewed Ed Dowd before, the wonderful Ed Dowd, who actually went and looked at the DWP data in the UK and looked at vaccine injuries, excess deaths, looked at disability, went right across the board. And his words to me were that if something doesn't happen soon with regards to the benefits bill in the UK, then the UK would go bankrupt. And it really is that simple. So carnage in the Financial Times here. Rachel from Accounts could be heading into stormy waters. And I did a little poll on X, actually, and I asked everybody, all my followers, thank you so much to everybody that polled, but I asked, what is the biggest spending government department? What do you think the biggest spending government department is? Well, I put 4 options in the poll. I put health, foreign aid, Department of Work and Pensions, and something else, if you weren't too sure. These are the results. We had 149 people respond, so it's only a small poll, but you know, you can get quite a good picture from it. 149. So most people thought that it was foreign aid. 48% of those polled thought the biggest government spending department was foreign aid, followed by health, where 28% thought that health was the biggest government spending department. Followed on then by DWP at 15%, just a tiny proportion, and 14% thought something else. But actually, what is the real picture? And I want to take you to a document. This is the Govt.uk MOD Departmental Resources 2024. And I'm going to take you to the next page now, which is a little bubble chart. And you'll see quite clearly, are you as surprised as I was? Because that big bubble right at the top there, that's DWP eating up a huge 275.7 billion a year. That's what DWP eat up. Defence only at 65.6 billion, and education tiny 134.8 billion compared with DWP. And you know, let's look at another chart because it gives you a slightly better perspective here of the graph. And you can see there DWP at the top, followed by DHSC, that's the Department of Health and Social Care, followed by Education, Treasury, Defence, and then Scotland. Are you surprised? I was surprised. So going on to ITVX, as we now have to call them, they recently reported that 6 billion was going to be cut off the welfare bill. 6 billion. And the same week, the Sunday Express was reporting that it costs 6.6 billion in asylum seeker support. So I'll leave you to do the maths, because are we looking at benefits or are we looking at disadvantages? And who is going to be disadvantaged? It seems that those on benefits will seem disadvantaged, but those who are seeking asylum support will receive that report. Just wanted to highlight that. But I also want to highlight something else which I think is very important with regards to DWP and anybody that's in receipt of universal credit or personal independence payment. They will also be eligible for passport perks. So these passport perks are council tax exemption, NHS prescription exemption. Maybe you need some help from a fund. Maybe you need to apply for some extra financial help. Maybe you need some dental help, and we all need dental, and we need a dentist, right? But people on benefits will get subsidised dental care. Free school meals for parents. I mean, many parents can't afford to feed their children 3 times a day, twice a day. So to get a school meal is incredibly important. All of these benefits will go when people come off universal credit or personal independence payment. They will just go. So who qualifies is my next question. Who qualifies for personal independence payment and for benefit relief and help? Well, it's anybody that's on IS, income support, job seekers, personal independence payment, universal credit, child tax, working tax credit. It's going to affect everybody. And while we look at the time now where we're coming up to the budget and we're going to get all of these rises, let's see what's happening to council tax, because council tax is going to be a big problem. And possibly, I hope I'm wrong, I really hope I'm wrong, but perhaps we're looking forward to a summer of discontent. I don't know. So the I-paper here reporting that 8 places where the council tax is set to rise by up to 25%. 25%, let that sink in. 4 million is anticipated to be hit by this because there's a loophole in the law, and apparently in section 114 the councils are allowed now to declare bankruptcy. So who are going to suffer? Who are going to be the ones to suffer as they lose benefits and as their council tax rises and they don't get any council tax help, exemption or subsidy? It's going to be those with disabilities, those they're in the most vulnerable position. But let's crack on. We'll go on to the I, because they're also reporting that DWP are cracking down on benefit fraud. So it's not just about taking benefits away, but it's those people that are going to be left with benefits. They're going to have their bank accounts snooped in. And there's even more, and Sky News here reporting driving bans. So if you've been found guilty of fraud, or maybe you've received money that wasn't meant to be paid into your account, and you don't pay it back, or it hasn't been paid back, or you've spent it on the wrong thing, you could end up losing your driving licence for up to 2 years. So this is big stuff, and I'm very concerned that not many people are reporting on it, because the level of benefit fraud is tiny. Many people that are claiming, especially disability and PIP, they really do deserve it. They wouldn't even be applying for it if they didn't. ITVX here, they're saying once the bill is passed, there's going to be more powers. And these powers, you know, you're going to get these decisions made by artificial intelligence. This isn't going to be somebody on a phone that's talking to you, that's making a decision. This is going to be made by artificial intelligence. Do you trust artificial intelligence? Because I, quite frankly, don't. So DWP are also planning on, if they sometimes pay in money to your account when they shouldn't have done, and you've received a payment when maybe you shouldn't have done, they're now going to have the powers to be able to go back into your bank account and take that money out. Do you agree to that? Did you vote for that? Can you cope with that? I would argue with no. And in Lancashire Live here, they're saying that DWP are going to be removing money when cases of wrongful payment have been made. So keep your eyes out, because big changes ahead in DWP. And what will that do to people with mental health? You know, a lot of people are very anxious at the moment, suffering with mental health illness after lockup, etc. So here we've got Birmingham Live talking about mental health. What is that going to end up in? Is that going to mean we get more suicides? I don't know the answer to that question, but I would ask that you ask the same question. So going on, disability benefits, payments, scraps, inbound. literally on the way in just a few days. And what I did find quite interesting was a little mention of a phrase, an additional costs disability payment. What is that? A disability costs payment. And the word supplant, if you see the word on the slide there, supplant, I had to actually go and look it up because I wasn't too sure what it meant. It means substitute. So that this additional costs disability payment, which they're bringing in, is going to substitute personal independence payment. So get ready for PIP to go. We had DLA before, disability living allowance, remember that? That went, and that was, we had PIP brought in. Now we're going to get additional cost disability. Now, how will that function? You can see apparently, they say, of course, it's all in our best interests. It's all to make life easier for us. And here they go using the word simplify. They want to simplify the current system into a 3-payment tier system. That's £83.70 for low support, £152.15 if you need a bit more help. That's middle tier. And then for the high level, £230.77 per week. And they do mention that if you do require lifetime support, then you may not need to have to go through any more of these assessments. And for anybody watching that's been through a PIP assessment or a DWP assessment, they're scary. People get nervous, people get worried, people lose sleep over them. It's their lifeline. How are they going to manage if it gets scrapped? And you don't know. You just don't know. So finally, we have a Commission for Social Security. A Commission for Social Security, and they're doing a consultation. Although I'm very sorry, but the consultation has now finished. But this was a consultation on designing the additional cost disability payment. I hope some of you watching may have found it before I did and may have made your comments known. But this is what is going ahead. And I'm asking everybody really that's watching this now, the spring budget, although we've been told that the big one was October, the impacts are going to be made here, now, in April. April the 1st, April Fool's Day, no fools. This is real. This is not a conspiracy. It's all there, evidenced, and there's more to come. So for those people that are worried at the moment that they may lose their disability benefits or their PIP, what I would say to them is take a minute to step back, take a big deep breath, because you can gather the evidence that you need. When you write your application form down, put how you are on your worst day, not on your best day, on your worst day. Also make sure you do a little bit of research before you fill in your claim form or your application form, because it works on a point scoring system. So some things that you feel might be relevant aren't relevant to personal independence payment. So do your research first. Don't panic too much. I know it is all a little bit overwhelming, but don't panic too much. There's plenty of us out here that can help, that can advise, that can kick off. And we all need to say no, right? We all need to row back on this, because people need help. People need TLC. And my motto has always been do no harm. So that's what we've got to look forward to, I'm afraid, for the spring budget. But there's plenty more news to come. And, well, I think we might be talking next time about cancer and rare disease. When does rare disease become common? I'll be telling you very shortly. Thank you for joining me today. Don't forget to go and find me on X, Debbie Evans Matron. I put all the news up there. But until then, take care, question everything, and catch a hug. Bye-bye for now. Thank you for watching.